This AroundWellington.com NewsSpot is brought to you by Sharpshooter Marketing Group, a full-service marketing company here in Wellington. Check out our website and give us a call.
Hello, I'm Victor Connor, founder and president of Connor Wealth Management. I beat cancer twice. I had stage 4 throat cancer, and that was followed by lung cancer. By the way, I'd like to thank the Florida Cancer Center and the Florida Radiation for making it possible for me to hear today. After that, and I recovered from cancer, I needed a mission. I needed a goal in life. So the first thing I did is I decided to get my private pilot's license, and then I subsequently bought a plane. And then after that, I started to look into longevity. Now that I knew I might be running out of time, I needed to lengthen my life. So one of the things I started to do is I went into the International Institute for Brain Enhancement, which happens to be in Delray Beach, Florida. And I went through their whole program. I did hyperbaric chambers, I did cryotherapy, I did mental stimulation, part of it's electrical, part of it's magnetics, part of it's biofeedback. I know it has extended both my life and my mental sharpness. And that got me, once you have a mission, it gives you a goal to go forward and to live longer. Just as an example, with my plane, I now fly for pilots and paws. We go and take rescue dogs and bring them down to different shelters to lengthen their life like we lengthen our life. So to see how you can do it too, let's go and take a tour of the International Institute for Brain Enhancement in Delray Beach, Florida. Come with us.
So Dr. Defina, where were you born?
Hi, I was born in Brooklyn, New York. I grew up in New York City. I went to Brooklyn Tech High School, and then New York University Medical Center, NYU undergrad, and did my internship at NYU in neuropsychology, and wound up working on the faculty at both NYU and Mount Sinai hospitals in New York City.
So how did you move forward into like actual work, like after the school? Where did you go from there?
Okay, well, the first job that I had after my training in neuroscience and neuropsychology was at Elmhurst Hospital in Queens, which is part of Mount Sinai. So I was both at Mount Sinai Medical Center in Manhattan and at Elmhurst Hospital in Queens. And I was the neuropsychologist for the unit and did a lot of work with neurological and psychiatric patients with all different types of disorders that I diagnosed and did various types of treatments with. And then eventually I got more involved in doing research, and over the last three and a half decades I've been engaged in doing a lot of what they call translational clinical research, which is human studies on various types of disorders, from Parkinson's and Alzheimer's, different neurodegenerative disorders of the brain in the aging population, and then a lot of work with early development, children with learning disabilities, attention deficit disorder, autism spectrum disorder. So I worked with a whole gamut of various types of neurological and psychological problems. And over the years of doing research and publishing papers, I was able to develop algorithms where we were doing a different type of method of treatment. Typically, treatment is a talking therapy along with medication, but in this particular case, we're looking at doing electrical and magnetic stimulation in the brain, which helps resolve a lot of the chemistry on its own. In the 1950s, when Albert Einstein was a professor at Princeton, they had asked him, what do you think the future of neuroscience and healthcare will be using the principles of physics and mathematics? And this is before computers and all the science and technology we have today. And interestingly, he said, we're going to learn more about electrical and magnetic systems in the body, how to diagnose electrical circuits and magnetic fields, and how to treat them. And that's exactly what we're doing. We use electrical stimulation, we use magnetic stimulation, we use light and sound therapies. So it's a new era in which we're using a lot more technology to help facilitate brain change without using medication that has a minimal main effect and a lot of side effects.
What moved you out of research into practice?
I actually did research and practice jointly. I was a professor at NYU School of Medicine in departments of neurology and psychiatry, and a consultant in the Department of Neurosurgery as well. So I was involved in a lot of research studies, and then eventually I had developed some techniques in relation to disorders of consciousness or coma. And surrounding that work, I started a foundation in 2004 called the International Brain Research Foundation, in which we had tens of millions of dollars in research funding, and we developed protocols to bring people out of coma or severe disorders of consciousness, and then started to develop a lot more research and publications every year in different neurological disorders, which now we currently translated into these advanced treatment protocols. So I still currently am involved with the International Brain Research Foundation, and in the last 2 years, the clinical practices have evolved, and we moved from New York to Florida 2 years ago and to Virginia, where we set up 2 offices that have a lot of advanced equipment for both diagnosis and treatment, and we now are expanding out all those efforts and continuing the research that we're doing. The center that we have in Florida is the International Institute for Brain Enhancement and Hyperbaric Services of the Palm Beaches, which is co-located on the campus of Delray Hospital. And then we also have another center in Virginia, which is very similar to this center, and we're also co-located on a hospital campus in Virginia as well. So our ability to facilitate these kinds of things has been developed at 2 independent centers that are now collaborating and working with the various kinds of disorders I described.
One of the things that I think is unique of what you do, you brought together 3 major protocols and put them in one location. What are those 3 protocols?
So we have a lot of protocols that we use for electrical magnetic stimulation, and the protocols that we're using here specifically for the military, United States military, has to do with traumatic brain injury and concussion. We do the whole spectrum from concussion to coma. So the whole realm of traumatic brain injury is a very important area that we work at. Also, we work with stroke patients, and with the military specifically, post-traumatic stress and the impact of environmental toxins, like various things from burn pits and other toxins that the military is exposed to. So we do those particular areas of expertise we're involved in with the United States military. We have a program here that we do for free for members of our military service, the men and women that serve our country. I'm formerly a member of the U.S. Army. I served during the Gulf War. My daughter is 4th generation military. She's currently a behavioral health officer in the Medical Service Corps. So our family has a lot of involvement with the military, and we do a lot to help them. We do a lot to enhance and optimize their ability to function. Our special operators and SEAL teams, Green Berets, Delta Force members, PJs from the Air Force, Army Rangers. We have programs to help enhance their brain functions and help mitigate the effects of PTSD, traumatic brain injury, and the environmental toxins from burn pits.
And you also added into that the protocol of hyperbaric therapy and nutraceutical IVs. Would you explain that?
Yes. So we do assessments where we do electrical mapping, we do magnetic mapping, we do different types of MRIs, and then we do DNA testing, full spectrum of blood work, and through that process we're able to understand the nature of the complexity of the issues that people are struggling with. And then we have different forms of treatment where we do electrical stimulation, magnetic stimulation. We have an assortment of nutraceuticals that are given IV, by mouth, sub-Q injection, etc., in order to facilitate change chemically without relying on prescription drugs with a lot of side effects. And then we use hyperbaric oxygen therapy as a different modality to reduce inflammation, increase mesenchymal stem cells, and do a host of other things to help the recovery of brain disorders and other disorders as well.
So putting this all together, is there any other facility that has put these different modes together that you have in one location?
The uniqueness of our program and the kinds of modalities I've developed over the last almost 4 decades essentially from all the research that was done, is not seen in any one area. So the uniqueness about what we have both here and at Reston Hospital in Virginia is using all these multiple modalities simultaneously and being able to be more effective at utilizing a wider range of resources of treatments. So that's very unique about our facility. We use low intensity focused ultrasound pulsation, we use transcranial direct current stimulation, transcranial magnetic stimulation, various forms of photobiomodulation or light therapies, in addition to pulsating electromagnetic fields, light and sound therapy. So it's a wide array of various types of treatment modalities that really have a great impact on resolving brain problems, being able to ensure brain health, and to prevent a lot of issues with aging. One of the programs we have for the military, which is something to enhance and optimize functions and also to mitigate the effects of concussions, is really good for the equestrian community. So down here in Wellington, I'm working with a lot of professional equestrians and people who are training and competing, and part of our program is used to enhance and optimize the functions of athletes like our equestrians, as well as to deal with concussive injuries and various other things that will occur in contact sports.
And longevity planning today is becoming a major medical issue. How does this type of treatment fit in with longevity?
Well, I think that's an incredibly important question. We have an anti-aging program, so we can improve both quality of life and the length of your lifetime. So that program is very specific, where people come in, get very specialized tests, so we understand the telomere, their lifespan, the various issues that can develop over the next 5 or 10 years through a lot of technologies that have been developed, where we can look to see people who will develop various forms of neurodegenerative disorders, and we can resolve and change the pathways in the brain in a way to elicit functional capabilities that would normally not be there in the next several years due to these diseases, because early intervention and prevention are incredibly important in aging. So we're able to really do a lot in that particular area.
Well, thank you for that information. Can you give us a tour?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, sounds great.
Hi, my name is Jared Newbrander. I'm one of the technicians here doing the biofeedback or neurofeedback. We use this device here to capture the brain's electrical patterns in real time, and then we teach the brain to change its patterns towards more beneficial functioning in real time with an operant conditioning paradigm run through the computer. So putting this on like this. These are dry electrodes. Each one gets placed and manipulated like so. There are ear clips here. Then we can use the monitors over here to look for patterns of improvement and reward beneficial changes.
This is one of the neurostimulation treatments that it directs either the alpha or the gamma waves, depending on what they determine by the mind mapping is needed at that time. So that, together with this nose clip, also takes the mitochondrial effect and tries to bring them all together. So we have two different things here. This device on my head, done by this, is electrical stimulation of the brain. And right now it focuses primarily on memory, learning, and cognitive skills. It increases the blood flow to those areas of the brain, specifically for those functions. Oxygen is the fuel of the brain. So what this does is it increases the amount of oxygen flowing to those specific areas. Again, the result is it increases memory, learning, and cognitive abilities, the ability to think clearly. The second item on here is a monochromial. It's an oxygen, antioxygen issue, where it takes clean oxygen, puts in antioxidants, and at the same time that this is going on, it's feeding and cleaning up the oxygen that the device in my head is stimulating. So it's getting more and cleaner oxygen at the same time. The combined effects together, as I said, increase memory, learning ability, and cognitive skills. Hello, this is Ann, one of the hyperbaric chamber therapists. You've been doing this how long, Ann?
30 plus years.
So you started when you were 10?
Yeah.
Okay. I did the hyperbaric chamber because it works both for cognitive abilities and for wound healing, but I'm going to let Ann explain the benefits and how it works. Ann?
Okay, these are Seacrest chambers we have here. You receive 100% oxygen under pressure while you're in there. When you're out here on surface, you're getting approximately 21% oxygen. So in the chamber, you're receiving 100%, along with the pressure that's pushing that oxygen throughout your body. And it helps with wound healing from the inside out, and it helps pushing the oxygen up to the brain when it's a neurologic condition.
And when you say it's pressurized, you're at 1.5 atmospheres or 2, it's the equivalent of being how deep, let's say, in the ocean?
Oh, you're anywhere from 16 to 40 plus feet.
Okay, and so this is pushing the air through you by pressure.
It's pushing the oxygen throughout the body where you usually carry it in your hemoglobin in your red blood cell. By applying the pressure, you're getting it pushed throughout into your body tissues.
Okay, and the benefits of
And what are the benefits of doing hyperbaric therapy?
The benefits with the neurologic, I've seen over the years patients that have increased their memory, patients with strokes that have been able to get up and with physical therapy also be able to walk around. With the wound healing, it helps heal the wounds, especially with diabetics, patients with osteomyelitis, infection in the bone. It helps heal the infection.
And so basically they sit here, you slide them in, and they sit there for an hour, hour and a half. Is that typical?
Yes. The neurologic treatments are usually about an hour and 20 minutes, where the wound healing treatments are 2 hours.
All right. Super, Ann. Thank you very, very much. We appreciate
You're most
it.
welcome.
All right.
So this is a specialized vending machine, which is a biostacking device that has infrared light therapy, as well as sound therapy, acoustic vibratory, and a pulsing electromagnetic field. It's very, very useful for cellular regeneration. It does a lot to help relax individuals and works on various kinds of anxiety-related, depression-related issues. We're doing studies right now to look at the efficacy of this in relation to psychological and neurological issues. That's part of the reason why we have it here, and we have it as part of our multimodal advanced care protocol, using all these kinds of electrical, magnetic, light and sound therapies. In addition, we have red light, so we have infrared and red light therapy. The sessions typically run 30 minutes or 60 minutes, and we do multiple modalities like traumatic brain injury, post-traumatic stress, and also toxic exposure. For our military troops, we're now involved in a multimodal program where we have hyperbaric oxygen therapy, IV infusions, different kinds of neurotherapies that we looked at before, and in addition, this specialized type of neurotherapy that we add to it. So this is a unique kind of capability. The bioengineer that I work with who developed this has been using this for different things, but now I'm involved in some scientific studies to show the efficacy of this in relation to the various kinds of issues that we talked about. It's also very important for anti-aging, relaxation as well. So general brain health will be another category.
And now we'll introduce Chief, my big dog rescue dog, with his headsets on. You ready? Come on, Chiefy. Chief, come on, jump out. There you go, Chiefy.